Welcome to the January 27th edition of Beer in Front. I'm your host, Dave Zalatoris. How's everyone doing this week? You know, I don't know if you're aware, but last week I put out a special weekend Jagoff edition because there were a lot of them. And, and kind of got me thinking, like, is this something I should just do? Like this main one, like today, my Wednesday shows generally come out Wednesdays, just focus more on beer and general stories, and maybe have another episode later in the week where it's just all, the Jagoff stuff like that. And about 80% of you said, no, just keep it the way it is, run it all together. I just wasn't sure. I don't get a lot of feedback on it. One person said, don't talk about the politics at all, talk more about the beer, and I totally respect that opinion. But, I don't know. It is, when I started this, I did not intend this to be like political ranting. I figured it was going to be more hanging out in breweries, talking to people, and, with the pandemic, that kind of put the kibosh on that. So, we'll see where this leads down the road, but, for now, I'm just going to, keep it the way it is. We'll talk a little about beer, talk about life, and then I'll go off on my little rants at the end. So we've got a good show lined up for you this week. I had a couple really, really good beers. My beer in front is going to be from Floyds. It's called People Power High Tea. This is a sparkling ale brewed with tea. I have never had this before. I'm looking forward to it. This seems like an interesting combination, so I'm going to give this one a try today. All right, it's Beer in Front, and it's coming up now.
I am Christy.
And I'm Leighton.
And together we are
Married Mash,
a podcast on a couple's guide to whiskey tasting.
Give us a listen as we try not only a whiskey, but branch out into new adventures, like cooking with whiskey, various cocktails,
delish,
other alcohol-related drinks,
brought to you by our Potluck segment,
and bottom shelvers,
better known as the BS Review.
Then we'll try a new whiskey we haven't had before.
Will we clink it?
Or will we sink it?
Listen for our weekly episodes on Anchor, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen to your podcasts. And remember,
always drink responsibly.
Indeed.
Yes, so when you're done listening to me talk about beer, hop on over to the Married Mash podcast and listen to Christy and Leighton talk about whiskey. Check them out. Yeah, I don't know if you saw this or not, but the other day, Anchor Brewing, maker of the great Anchor Steam, I know I feature them probably one of the first 2 or 3 episodes of the podcast. They've totally revamped their look, went with all new packaging, and there's been some uproar over it. Now, I don't mind the new look. I like the old look, but I'm old. I'm not the target audience anymore. I'm not the prime demographic. I do like the new look. Not a big fan of the font, but the look itself is okay. And, frankly, the people that are complaining about this are probably not people drinking it. And if they were, and if I was drinking this all the time, they wouldn't have to do this. So I totally see the reason why they did it. I understand it. It's not a bad look. I mean, if you saw a new brewery that had this look, you might give it a try, but people just like the old Anchor Steam, and it's not about what the cans or bottles look like. It's about the beer inside. And as long as that's the same, I don't have any issues with it. In other beer news, Boulevard out in Kansas City really screwed up with a apology this week. I'm not going to go into lengthy detail. I mean, you could, research it yourself, but there were allegations against Boulevard and I guess now former members of Boulevard, really just shitty, sexist behavior that's uncalled for. They issued a horrible apology. I mean, it was just brutal, saying that they looked into it and found nothing. They're going to have their own employees, a woman task force, look into this. And that was just bullshit. It's like, you can't, now you're going to just make women bear the brunt of this investigation when you should have done it to begin with. Well, a day later, they totally reversed course and issued a damn good apology, in my opinion. But I don't know, for some people, is this a little, day late and a dollar short or whatever? This was the apology. This was the statement that should have came out first. Hopefully they learn from this. I don't know. I'm just not going to drink their stuff for a while. Hopefully they get better, and hopefully this is a wake-up call. And I know some people, like, even, I've heard stuff about me not drinking Stone for their actions against other small breweries, founders, and, people say this is cancel culture. No, it's not cancel culture. It's me holding places that I want to give my money to. I'm holding them accountable to be, decent members of their community and everything else. So I don't want to hear bullshit about cancel culture. I'm just not going to drink Boulevard for a while. Hopefully, they learn from this, make the right steps, be a good member of the community. I'll wait and see. But it's really shitty. Look at it yourself and see, but just wasn't good. And I want to give a shout out to Revolution Brewing. Moira wants to give them a shout out as well. They released their great, and I'll talk about it in a little bit, their collaboration with Half Acre called On and On. And I grabbed that. And when I was separating it, one of the cans exploded. It must have caught on it. And I sent them a private message, and they were super cool about it. Said, come on back, we'll replace it. So I want to give them a shout out. They really take care of their customers. And there was a koozie in there. So Revolution, if you're listening, my wife is a little upset with you because the last thing I need is another koozie. But I appreciate it, and I appreciate you guys. So thank you, Revolution. A couple of beers I had this week that I really want to talk about. I mentioned in the last segment, On and On. This is in collaboration with Half Acre and Revolution. This was fantastic. Ruby says I need to come up with new descriptions because I say fantastic and tremendous and outstanding a lot. So I'm going to buy myself a thesaurus. But On and On was fantastic. This one you should pick up. This was a porter. Excellent. Really good. I highly recommend that. I also had from Sketchbook Snowy Owl. This was a red rye ale that I enjoyed a lot. I mentioned Hop Butcher a lot because they make great beers. Now, I had an Italian Pilsner from them called Double Saaz. This was great. I like Italian Pilsners. If you're a fan of Pilsners, definitely check this one out. This was excellent as well. And to prove that I'm not just an old guy sitting around drinking IPAs all day, I put a review on the YouTube. I had Plasma Wave from Brothership. This was a fruited sour, way outside my comfort zone, but I really enjoyed it. So check it out on YouTube. I started a YouTube channel. I just have a few things on there, so if you want to look, the YouTube channel is Beer in Front, and this was a review of Plasma Wave from Brothership. Check that one out. Okay, the beer in front this week is from Three Floyds. This is People Power High Tea. This is a sparkling ale brewed with Darjeeling black tea, and proceeds from this go to the American Civil Liberties Union, which I'm a big fan of as well. So this is from Three Floyds People Power High Tea. Let's check it out. This is pretty good. This is a real hazy, pale color. The aroma, I get just very faint. I get a faint hint of the tea in this, which isn't a bad thing. I like tea. Yeah, definitely the aroma is more of the tea, but it's very subtle on this. The taste is interesting. It's a beer, but the tea is very, the tea hits you. It's just hard. I'm kind of at a loss for words because this is so different. That it's that Darjeeling tea. This is something that I would, a tea that I would have if I was going out at, having dinner at a Chinese restaurant. So I kind of get that taste. And it's interesting, but it's good. Now, their website says that you should give aromas and flavors of watermelon and strawberry. Personally, I'm not getting that. I just get the tea, but, I've said 1,000 times on this show, I'm just an everyman. I'm not an expert. What do I know? So maybe other people get that. I'm just getting the tea from this, but it's good. I picked this up at, no surprise, Beer Miscuous. I don't know if it's available in, your main liquor stores. I know it's available at Floyds itself. But if you see it and you want something different, I definitely would check it out. This is People Power from Floyds, and it benefits the great people at the American Civil Liberties Union. All right, there have been plenty of them this week, so let's stop dawdling. And here are the Jagoffs of the Week. I've talked about them before the election, but the administrators and the Postmaster General, you guys can kiss my ass. I've had a package at my local post office since Saturday morning. This is now Wednesday at 7:15 p.m. as I'm recording this, and I still don't have my package. All I get when I do a tracking on it is it's delayed. Yeah, no shit, it's delayed. How about giving your workers support? This is not a criticism of postal employees because they're the ones that are busting their ass for no recognition, no support from management and the government. So the Postmaster General, you're a jagoff. I want my fucking package. This is going to be a long segment. So I'm just telling you now. I know like some friends of mine, they drive home from work and they have to sit in their garage or their driveway. Don't close the garage door, John. It's a long segment. It's, I don't want you to get carbon monoxide poisoning listening to me talk about jagoffs. Nancy Pelosi, and I don't want anyone to say all I do is criticize Republicans, because Nancy Pelosi, you could kiss my ass too, that you're now selling stock in Tesla. You've made $1 million today selling stock. I'm sorry, but if I'm going to criticize the ex-senators of Georgia for insider trading or whatever, Nancy, you're a jagoff too, because you're making money selling your stocks of Tesla, and you did Apple, Disney, Alliance Holdings. You're selling all your shares, making money. I don't know what you know, but I don't know it, and you're a jagoff. And the whole stock market has been up in arms, and I love it because of, I believe this is a Reddit group that was fucking over guys, hedge fund managers that are short selling GameStop and other companies. So I'm not an expert on finance, but these guys were buying the stock, which I guess was making hedge fund managers who are pretty much just betting on a company failing, having to take a big hit, which I love. There's no one I hate more than a hedge fund manager. But now, because of this, groups like TD Ameritrade, they're suspending trades of GameStop and AMC because of this. So it's fine when billionaires want to rig the system and bet on companies failing, but when everyday people want to buy the stock and it hurts them, you suspend the stock. That's a bunch of bullshit, and you're all a bunch of jagoffs. Instacart is going to lay off all of its unionized workers. Instacart has made a shit ton of money this year during the pandemic. They've reported profitability for the first time, and they're expected to have an IPO valued up to $30 billion. but you want to lay off your unionized employees. You're jagoffs. I'll walk to the store. I'll buy it myself. And I'm still laughing. I know I talked about last week the minimum wage, and people are still, in an uproar over the minimum wage. But it's okay that the head of Amazon can make $13 billion in one day. That's cool. But the people working for him making $15 an hour is bullshit. You're jagoffs. One of these knuckleheads that stormed the Capitol a couple of weeks ago was released on bond today, and the judge said that he had shown respect for the law enforcement and he wouldn't pose a threat. But they also showed a picture of this guy's house, and he had 30 guns and assault rifles. Yeah, no, he wouldn't pose a threat. Fucking jagoffs. Arkansas Senator Tom Cotton, now he campaigned on his experience as an Army Ranger. It was a lie. He didn't have any experience as an Army Ranger. He went to school, but he was never an Army Ranger. So he pads his resume, and everybody pads their resume. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I could pad a resume with the best of them, but you campaign on being this honest, upstanding guy, and then you lie about your military service. That's pretty low, Senator. You're a jagoff. Maybe next campaign you could say that, you were a first responder at 9/11 or something. Prick. Oh, one of my favorite new congressmen from North Carolina, Madison Cawthorn. This guy's like a moth to the flame. Whenever there's a news camera on, he wants to shine. So this ass clown, already after, it's after the fact, after Tammy Duckworth already took care of them, but he wants to say that, he's doing something for the troops. So, he comes up with a bunch of pizza for them and says that, they could sleep in his office. And a quote unquote from him, "No soldier will ever sleep on the floor while I work in Congress." It's already been done. Tammy Duckworth took care of this. You did this after the fact to make yourself look good. You're a prick. You're an absolute jagoff. And you're a liar, too, because you've lied about everything in your life and you've gotten away with it. It ends now. You've lied about your Paralympics training, saying that you were going for the world record. There's a limited amount of people that are in the Paralympics community. No one has ever heard of your name before. But, I mean, I guess you could lie and say, yeah, your Paralympic training, yes, I could just say I'm training for the Olympics and, I'm going to beat Usain Bolt. I could say that, and maybe I'm just training for that while drinking beer, but it's not going to happen. But you're going out and telling people this. You're running for office based on this. It's a lie. Madison Cawthorn, you're a jagoff. You're up for re-election. In a year and 10 months, you're going down. Kevin McCarthy of California says that everyone across this country has some responsibility for the Capitol insurrection. You know what, Kevin? No, I don't have any responsibility for it. You do, jagoff. The terms of Kyle Rittenhouse's bond have been changed after his mommy took him to a bar in Wisconsin, and he had a shirt on like free as fuck, it said, and he was out there drinking with his mommy in a bar in Wisconsin and was serenaded with the Proud Boys anthem. I don't even know where to begin with this. Call DCFS, do something, but you're both jagoffs. How the fuck is he out on bond? You know full well if the roles were reversed and it were an African-American man shooting fucking people in Kenosha, he wouldn't be out on bond to be drinking a Miller Lite with his mommy in a bar. The Trump campaign, or more likely the people that donated to the Trump campaign, they paid $2.7 million to organizers of rallies ahead of the Capitol riots. And some of these groups, like one is called Women for America First, they're tax-exempt organizations where they don't pay tax. So you can take money, you could take tax-exempt money, you don't pay any taxes, and you could incite a riot. How the fuck is this legal? And I don't get it. You're all jagoffs. Senator in Missouri, Andrew Koenig, he's tested positive for COVID. Days after sponsoring legislation that aims to strip health authorities of the power to impose rules designed to slow the spread of the virus. Breathe deep, Andrew. Breathe deep, brother. Remember Megyn Kelly? She's reminding people and says that it's logical to blame the media for their bias against Trump, even though he lied hundreds of times and encouraged the insurrection. But it's the media's fault. He lied about it, but it's the media's fault. Megyn, your 15 minutes were up long ago. You cashed a huge check from NBC. Just go retire somewhere. Go retire to an island. Sleep on some My Pillows or something. Go the fuck away. Jag off. Let's get back to my buddy Madison Cawthorn. If you haven't, please go look. Google. It was on CNN. Pamela Brown. She grilled him, ripped him a new asshole. You need to watch this video that she's just asking him questions. He has no idea what she's talking about. He's just making word salad. You need to watch it. Madison Cawthorn, you're a jagoff, but please Google this. It was on CNN. Pamela Brown. It was brilliant. Oh, and I love the buzzword that's coming out of the far right. It's cancel culture. This is all you hear. The My Pillow guy is blaming the loss of his revenue and loss of his business to the cancel culture. No, Mike, you've spread conspiracy theories and people are calling you out on it. You're a jagoff. Matt Gaetz from Florida, he is saying that impeachment is the zenith of cancel culture. But now, Maddie, you wanted to cancel Liz Cheney for voting her conscience. That's okay. That's not cancel culture if it's, something you want to do. And if you want to talk about cancel culture, why don't we talk about Colin Kaepernick? Because the Republicans canceled his career. Trump called him a son of a bitch. So let's not talk about cancel culture now when that's probably page 2 of the GOP playbook. You're all jagoffs. Remember last week when I was talking about the woman who was released to her mommy's custody, who was the woman that was stealing Pelosi's computer from her office. Now, she's suspected of using the internet in recent days, encouraging people to destroy evidence in the insurrection case. You know what might have kept her from accessing the internet? You should have kept her in fucking jail, Judge. Jagoff. In 1995, writing a column for his high school newspaper, my buddy Josh Hawley was writing that he believed that people have been unfairly maligned by the media, including anti-government militia groups and Mark Furman. Josh Hawley showed you who he was then. 26 years ago, we know who he is now. He needs to go. Jagoff. And once again, someone please explain to me how QAnon supporter Marjorie Taylor Greene is an elected official. She has conversations, and there's screenshots of everything, with a Proud Boy InfoWars member talking about 1776 Part 2. There's videos of her today chasing down a Parkland survivor, grilling him. Who the fuck are you? And this was before she even ran for any office. So at this point, you're just private citizen stirring up shit. But you're chasing down a kid who's a teenager who survived Parkland, and you want to throw your conspiracy theories? Fuck you. You are a fucking C-word. I mean, who elected you? Who the fuck elected you? And even your own party doesn't like you, Marjorie. Your party hates you. How the fuck are you elected? TikTok bitch, you're going down 2022. All right. Well, I started this off with a Democrat, Nancy Pelosi, and I'm going to end with the Democrat because this is actually the thing that really pissed me off the most this week. And This is bullshit. This is Illinois. This is Chicago politics. Fucking 101. This is why we get the reputation that we have for being such a corrupt fucking city and state. 2 weeks, yes, 2 weeks into her new term, State Senator Heather Steens is retiring, and that leaves her allies to pick her replacement. It's 2 weeks into your term. Look at Chicago Magazine. They wrote a terrific article on this, and they break down how corrupt and how shit like this has happened. And shit like this has happened to people who actually follow me on Twitter, that they're benefits of this. They benefited from this. But it's bullshit. So now the replacement gets to be handpicked without running for any election. This person probably wouldn't have won an election because they're unknown, but now they'll be an incumbent the next time. But you knew full well you weren't going to fucking serve your term, Senator. So 2 weeks into it, you decide you're going to retire. That's bullshit. That's corrupt. I don't care that you're a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. I don't care that you are. It's bullshit. You're a jagoff. All right. Before I close this out, I do want to mention something that I'm kind of proud of. As of today, I am now a member of the North American Guild of Beer Writers. I don't think I've ever been part of a guild before, so I will do my best to be a good member of this guild, and I'm actually kind of proud of this. I'm just thinking to myself that less than a year ago, I started this, kind of on a whim. This is pretty cool. So I thank the guild for accepting me, and I'm actually quite proud of this. All right, that's going to wrap things up for the January 27th edition of Beer in Front. I do thank everyone for listening. And right now it's 8:09 p.m. And the package that has been sitting allegedly somewhere at the post office, I just had a notification 6 minutes ago that it was delivered. I look outside, it's not delivered. Jagoffs. All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening. Hopefully I'll have a nice shorter episode, a normal 15-minute episode of Beer in Front next week. I do thank everyone again, and I will see everyone next week. Thank you.